Good morning, grade 4s. Welcome back to school. I hope you're feeling safe, warm, and you're ready to learn. And good afternoon to those who've been to break. On our NST lesson today, we will be focusing on state of matter. Now, matter is everything that has mass and takes up space by having volume. There is a picture of a balloon that is filled with air and one that is not filled with air. And we can see that the one that is filled with air has got mass. And usually we use volume to measure liquids. And we have just answered the question, what is matter? Everything on earth is made up of solids, liquids, and gases. All matter is made up of tiny little parts called particles. Everything on earth is classified into solids. So if an object is not a solid, then it is in a liquid state or it is in a gas state. And that's a picture of someone breathing in air. The air we breathe is classified as gas. And over there we have a picture of children drinking water. And the water we drink is a liquid. And over there we have a group of friends having a slice of pizza. And the pizza we eat is a solid. Now let's look at solids. Let's look at their properties. Remember, properties are their characteristics or their uniqueness, or their description, basically. All solids have a fixed shape, just like these bricks over there. They have a fixed rectangular shape. Now, if you want to change the shape, you have to use force. You might need to go fetch a hammer to hammer the brick, and maybe it'll change its shape. The particles of solids are closely packed together. They cannot move past each other. Now remember, this brick is made up of particles. Now because they are nicely packed in a rectangular shape, they look like that picture over there, closely packed together. Okay, you'll explore more about particles in grade 5 and moving forward, but this is all you need to be aware of. Now, all solids, most solids, are easy to see. Just like this apple over here, it's very easy to see. Most solids feel physically hard. When you touch them, you can actually feel their texture. Now we are looking at liquids. Liquids don't have a fixed shape. And what does that mean? It means that they take the shape of the container. For example, if you look at this water in the glass, it took the shape of the glass. But if you were to take the same water and pour it in a water bottle, it will take the shape of the water bottle. So liquids take the shape of the container. They don't have a fixed shape. Now, just like solids, liquids are also made of particles, tiny little parts. Now, their particles are different. their particles are not closely packed together. They are actually able to move past each other. Liquid are easy to see. Liquid is easy to see. Water is easy to see. Cooking oil is easy to see. And liquids feel physically wet. When you touch them, they get your hands wet. And they are also very flowy. So when you pour them from one place to another, they just flow as they go. Now we're looking at gases. Now, gases are quite special. Gases have no fixed shape. Just like the air you breathe, you cannot tell if it's a rectangular shape or it's a square shape. They have no fixed shape. However, the only way to change their shape is by force. Just like these helium balloons over there. First, a material was used to shape the 1 and the 0 or the 0, and a helium gas was forced into these shaped balloons. And when you blow in your usual normal balloon, you forcefully push your air into the balloon, and it will obviously turn into whatever shape that it is. Okay, some balloons are a shape of an animal, some balloons are round, some balloons are oval. They're all different. Now, particles of gases spread freely. They move past each other, and there is a picture to illustrate what the particles of gases look like. Remember, all 3 states of matter have particles, are made up of particles, and they're all different. Gases can be contained, but obviously it is hard, like I said. Most gases are difficult to see, just like the air we breathe. It's very difficult to see unless in a cold weather and your breath is hot, obviously, and you try breathe out, and you could actually physically see your air into space. But how do we know if something is a solid, a liquid, or a gas? I've put a table together to assist you identify if an object is solid, liquid, or gas. And step 1 requires you to look at the object. What do you see? If you can, name the object and ask yourself these questions. Does it feel hard? Or does it feel wet? Or is it difficult to feel? The next question. Does it move gently when I touch it? The next question. Does it have a fixed shape? Or does it change its shape? And the last one is it difficult or easy to see the object? And here is an example. Let's look at our beautiful red coffee mug and try to answer these questions. We're only looking at the coffee mug. Ignore the rest, please. Step 1, look at the object. What do you see? I see a coffee mug. And ask yourself these questions. Does it feel hard, wet, or is it difficult to feel? Sorry. If I touch it, does it feel hard or wet? Or is it hard to feel? Does it move gently when I touch it? If you put your finger on the mug, do you think it's going to run to the other side? Is it going to move gently, or is it going to remain where it is? Does it have a fixed shape, or does it change shape? It looks like it has a fixed shape to me. Is it easy or difficult to see? It's quite easy to see. Now you can use these questions and focus on the coffee inside the mug, or focus on the steam that is coming out of your mug. You can do that right now, and then we will move on. Activity 1. Sort examples of common materials. First, I want you to give a definition for each of the state of matter. What is a solid? What is a liquid? And what is a gas? Copy the following table into your workbook. This table over here, please copy into your workbook. Yes, you can fold your paper to help you guide with the lines. Decide if each of the examples on the next slide, I will go to the next slide just now, and you will be able to see all the examples that I've given to you. And once you've looked at them, you can decide if each of them is a solid, a liquid, and a gas. Now remember, grade 4s, don't forget to write your dates, and don't forget to underline your date and your heading. Now, these are the objects, and I want you to look at each object and decide if it's a liquid, solid, or a gas. The first one is the rain that we usually get. Okay, you have to go back to your table, decide if it's solid, liquid, or a gas, and put it in the correct column. We've done this before, and I know that you can do it. All right. Once this activity is done, you will move on to the next activity. Okay, now these objects will be projected on the board, and you'll be given time to look at them and decide if they're solid, liquid, and gas, and then we will move on to our next activity. Now, our next activity requires you to describe the properties, okay, the characteristics of solids, liquid, and gases. And I've given you 3 objects. I've given you a glass of water, and I've given you a stone, and I've given you a steam coming off the pot. Your heading will be sort and describe solids, liquids, and gases. And on the table, I'd give you an advice to have this column a little bit smaller than the last column. You need more space on the last column. All right. I don't know why I did this, but you need more space on the last column because that's where you put in quite a lot of information. I've given you an example, and the example is a book. And state of matter, the book is a solid. Now, I had to describe the properties of